Welcome everyone to First Thoughts on a Friday. First thoughts on the gospel lesson for this coming Sunday is from Luke, the 10th chapter. It's that story that's very well known, the Mary and Martha story. Yeah, you know the one where Jesus is invited into the home of Mary and Martha, and Mary is sitting at the feet of Jesus listening to his every word, and Martha's doing all the work in the kitchen. She gets a little upset with that, and she kind of bosses Jesus around. Did you notice that? Yeah, let me read this to you. Martha was distracted by her many tasks, so she came to him, meaning Jesus, and asked, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me." How you like that? First of all, she kind of goes to Jesus and says, "Don't you care?" Whoa. I personally would not talk to Jesus like that. Don't you care? Well, the disciples, I guess, did that at one point too, whenever they were in the boat crossing the lake and a storm came up and they said, "Jesus, don't you care? We're all going to die." Of course he cares. But hey, when you're in the midst of a traumatic situation, and your emotions get the best of you, you can say a lot of things to Jesus that maybe you normally wouldn't. And maybe that's not such a bad thing after all. Yeah, even with this text, maybe it's not so bad that Martha lets it all out. Just a thought. Maybe we need to let it all out in our lives as well. Let it out to Jesus. Let him know how we feel. It might be the path toward healing. Well, anyhow, but Jesus' reply kind of leaves some of us a little puzzled at times. The Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing, and Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her." In other words, I'm not going to do what you just asked me to do, Martha. No. As a matter of fact, you need to think about what you just said. You need to think about what you're doing. Not so much what you're doing, how you are doing it. I think the key to this passage that we have for this week lies in the fact that, unfortunately, many of our English translations use the word distracted. It's used twice in the gospel lesson, but each time it's a different Greek word, and we translated them both as distracted. And I think that's part of the issue going on here, because it's important to know that those Greek words lead us in different directions. Whenever it says here in part of the story that Luke is telling us, but Martha was distracted by her many tasks, hey, that perfectly describes a lot of us. We often talk about multitasking. We do that a lot, and sometimes we don't do it so well. And you're just pulled here and you're pulled there. And we talk about being pulled here and pulled there by so many things in our lives. And it does mess us up. It really, truly does. And that's what's happening to Martha. All her actions, as good as they are, they're kind of messing her up in this beautiful moment when she could be sitting at the feet of Jesus just like her sister Mary. But she's doing a good thing. She's showing hospitality, which is exactly what the Good Samaritan story just before this told us that we are to do for one another, being good neighbors. Boy, this is where it starts getting a little, dicey. Just what are we to do? Well, Jesus tells Martha what she should be doing. She should be doing what Mary is doing. And it's part of his answer that's also, unfortunately, the word is translated into our English as distracted as well. Martha, Martha, you're worried and distracted by many things. Okay, that word distracted is a little different. It talks about what's going on inside of your guts, inside of you personally, not what's pulling you away externally, but what's going on the inside of you. That's where the real distraction is taking place. And that's what you need to deal with. And there's only one way to deal with that. That's by sitting at the feet of Jesus. Sitting at the feet of Jesus. And we do that in many, many ways. By just sitting down and reading Scripture. By sitting down and praying. By just sitting in the great outdoors like I'm doing right now. And I'm surrounded by all kind of beautiful trees all around me. And it's gorgeous. And it's a wonderful feeling. And sometimes that can be sitting at the feet of Jesus. Sitting in this whole realm of God's kingdom. And that's what we need to do. It is the better thing that won't be taken away from us. And it is the thing that then can help us to reorient our lives in a way in which we're not distracted in that other sense, where everything just kind of pulls us apart. Maybe that's what Jesus is getting at. Maybe that's what the gospel writer Luke intends for us to learn from this little episode in the life of Jesus. It's interesting. It's only here in Luke that we see this story happening. Right here. And it's a good one. And it's one that perhaps you and I should really take to heart this week. Not only this week, but every week and every day. As we sit at Jesus' feet and learn from Him what it means to not only love God, but to love others as we love ourselves. I'm sitting right now in a chair, and maybe what I need to do more of is sitting at the feet of Jesus as well. Let's all make an effort to do that in the coming days. God's blessings be with you.